I'm going to keep this intro really short. If you've ever had a flight delay or lost a bag, this episode will give you some insight into the chaos that happens behind the scenes. Now, I hope things have gotten better in the 20 years since I did this work with my friend Kyle, but if they haven't, this episode might give you some insight into why. I hope you enjoy the stories, and if you do, please share this podcast with a friend and leave a rating wherever you download your podcasts. Thanks, and enjoy the story.
Take world trip on the weekends.
What's up, bro? Thank you, brother. Alright, so I was going to get up and rant about some stuff from crazy people on LinkedIn that are saying in my DMs, but I work for a consulting firm, and I've been there a long time, and I stopped doing client work about 12 years ago, but for the first a long time I was doing client work, and I thought I'd share a story because some of you have traveled, and some of you have probably had a flight delay, maybe lost a bag when you checked it, and back in like 2003 or 2004, I had a chance to work for one of the airlines at O'Hare, and they hired us because they were at the time running 30% on-time departure and losing about 10% of the bags. Now, you don't need a consulting firm to tell you that's not a good business model, but they hired us, and it was actually a really quick thing. It was like me at like 30 years old and this kid who had just graduated from Michigan, and they said, you have 1 month to figure out what's going on, and 1 month to put a plan in place to fix it. And so I got like an all-access pass to the airport, and we got to work trying to figure out what's going on. I thought I'd share some of the stories, because when you're on a flight delay, you're like, what the hell is going on? I have to find out what the hell is going on. And when your bags didn't show up, I had to find out like, where the hell your bag went. And so they have, I'll tell a couple of quick stories of things that I saw in that month. And I could go on forever. If I swear at Demetrius, I can just go on.
100%. Go fuck yourself, buddy.
So they had these flights that were called STAR flights, Start the Airline Right. And they were flights that were just going back and forth around the Midwest. So like you could go to Cleveland and back like 3 or 4 times a day. So if you screwed up that first flight, you would just have like 5 delays the rest of the day because the plane would just go through the day. And so they had these STAR flights, and we were getting complaints that the planes were leaving late, but the system wasn't showing it. So we split up. My boy went to the control center, and I went out to the gate to look at the plane. He goes, okay, so we see the plane is left. And I'm like, no, I didn't leave. He's like, well, the system says it's gone. I go, no, I'm looking, I have eyes on the plane. And what I realized was that the pilots had figured out the system was automated. And when you release the brakes on the plane, it thinks it left. Oh. And so I'm looking, and the red light's flashing on top because he popped the brakes, and people are still boarding the plane. And so we figured that out. We're like, okay, so now we got to keep eyes on the plane. And then they had these planes, like this plane was late, and it had been there overnight, and it was taking refueling delays. We were like, why? Like you had 12 hours to put fuel on the plane. It's now time to go. Why isn't there fuel on the plane? And so we do all this work, and we realize that there's like one guy, he's at the control center, his job is to just tell the fuel truck, this plane, this much fuel, go. We go down there and we ask him, we're like, dude, you're killing us. Like, you are single-handedly causing a lot of delays at O'Hare. And he goes, yeah, the printer prints out the orders, and I have to remember to look at those orders, but the printer's like down the hall in a different room, and sometimes I just forget to go get it. I go, why don't they move the printer to your desk? Because you're the only one using it. He goes, yeah, I keep asking, and they just sort of pull me off. So next phone call is the headquarters, we're like, can somebody please come with this man's printer? Again, we're really expensive in that kind of device. But, so then we're watching this plane, and we're like, everything went right. And these 2 planes just didn't leave. And then we realized that the gate controller, who tells all the planes where to park, had put Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Louisville at gates next to each other. And for the plane here, Sioux Falls, South Dakota is SFD. Louisville, Sanford Field is SDF. And the guys had come and loaded an entire plane load of bags onto the small plane. We're just looking like, is this really happening right now? And what ended up happening was they caught it before they left, because everybody would have lost their bags, but they caught it. And then they had to like, have everybody sit and wait while this small bag was playing. We're like, this is crazy. But then I decided we should go figure out what's going on with like, if normally the way we were running, if this row was on a plane, one of you would get there without your bag. They were losing 10% of the bag. So we go down to the bag store, and the first thing I noticed, with all of my business training, There's not a clock anywhere, and nobody's wearing a watch. And I'm looking around, I'm like, so how does he know when it's time to go out to the plane? He goes, well, they just kind of know. He goes, well, sure, they can go up and log into that terminal and see what time it is on the computer. So we're like, really, that's your clock? I got an idea. Tonight, somebody go to Home Depot and buy a clock. And when we come in tomorrow, let's see the clock up on the wall so everybody knows what time it is. And he goes, yeah, we should do that. I go, okay, cool. And I go, one more thing. I look and there's a cart that's loaded with bags. I have like 3 things full of bags. And there's a guy like in the tractor ready to go. Fast asleep. He's just asleep. Like all the bags are ready to go. And this dude is just asleep behind those cars. I go, I got another idea. Nobody sleep on the jet. Okay. Just call me crazy. I want to make sure the planes go out. So then we get to, we started talking with other people about what was going on. And there's all this crazy stuff happening. And this guy's explaining, yeah, you know, we know that sometimes when you're waiting for your baggage claim, it takes forever. And sometimes it's just like no bags coming anywhere. And so we started figuring out what was going on. And then we go fix it. There's a jackpot. Everybody's having, whoa, a jackpot? What are you talking about? He goes, yeah. So what was happening was we would get behind. And the way it works is the baggage claim, it's sort of like the bags go by this conveyor belt, this barcode reads it, and then when it gets to the right spot, this thing just comes out, punches it down, and it goes down the ramp and get your bag. He goes, and sometimes we were going behind, so some of the guys, we figured out that we could just speed up the belt. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a great idea, but it's kind of a finely tuned system and whatnot. He goes, yeah, so it wasn't working. Well, what was happening? He goes, well, when we would speed up the belt, but the arm to kick the bags down went slow. So we kick one down and then get caught on the next bag. And then all the bags in the entire bag would just be piling up. And he goes, we figured it out. So one of us would go climb up there and release the bags, and they all come down at once like a jackpot. It was great. It was like, oh my God. Good, we're doing this right now, like one of the biggest airlines in the world. And anyway, my time is up, but I could go on and on. We didn't even talk about what I saw at customer service upstairs and all this crazy stuff going on. Maybe I'll say that next time. But that's my story.
I wish that I could have a job go around telling people how they're doing stupid shit. Wait, what you doing? I mean, that's dumb. Pay me. You know what I'm saying? You want money, dog. Consultant. That's really what consultants are. You're like, hey, let me see what you're doing. Oh yeah, that's dumb. Don't do it that way. You're right? That's pretty much it. Good job. One more time for Keith, ladies and gentlemen. I like Keith.
Thanks for listening to this episode of My Home is Special. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast to get future episodes automatically. You can go to myhomeisspecial.com to see the full project and sign up for email updates. Be sure to follow KBevPhoto on Instagram or go to kbevphoto.com to see what I'm snapping these days. There's a lot on both to explore. For now, this is Keith, aka KBev, signing off. Peace.